Well, hello, everybody. I'm so pleased to be here again. Let me share my screen with y'all. Hang on one second. Okay, let's see here. Let me pull up my. Alrighty. I'm going to start the slideshow for y'all. So welcome so much. This is Nutrition Class 2, supporting the brain after injury. Let me just put this guy down. Thank you so much for attending. My name is Sanara Clark, or Sai for short. This is actually the second class, as Justin said, on our series on nutrition. So what we'll be covering in this course, I'll do a little bit of a recap briefly to talk about what we talked about last time, which was a whole bunch of information. Also, I will talk about supporting the brain after injury. Also, as Justin talked about, we'll discuss gluten-free and dairy-free choices for diet, how the food impacts brain health, foods that will fight inflammation in our bodies, and then vitamins and minerals that will help with brain health. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, nutrition is a love of mine. A long time ago, I found a book called Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Fuhrman in the library, and loved the book so much that I was copying pages out of it on the copier in the library. I actually have bought the book since then. But really loved the idea of eat to live, or food as medicine. Right after that, I went on to Weight Watchers and lost about 35 pounds slowly. Probably about 1.5 years it took me to lose that amount of weight. After I found the book, not necessarily related to the regimens, but I did love what he wrote about. I was also, after that, diagnosed with diverticulitis. They did not figure out what it is for a very long time, and realized after a couple of bouts that it was diverticulitis, which is an inflammation of your colon or the large intestine, mostly related to poor diet. And specifically low fiber, as well as just like processed foods in general, can cause diverticulitis. Quite common. I know quite a few people that have it. Actually, it's more popular the older you get, though. And then after all of these things, I was studying nutrition in Tampa, Florida. At Hillsborough Community College, was then part of the dietetic technician program. But when we moved here, joined American College of Healthcare Sciences, which is a holistic nutrition program, and was at ACHS for about 3 years, learning all about nutrition and holistic ways to go about it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm a lead at a catering company. Actually just became an admin lead, serving tech companies in the Bellevue and Seattle regions. We just go in there and serve them their lunches every day, kind of a neat perk for them. They get free meal every day they go in. I'm a hobbyist. Some of you know that I like to write poetry. I also love herbology, gardening, skincare. I love to make soap. That was one of my first loves. I'm enjoying painting. I also do a lot of mixed media. Sometimes I do painting with epoxy, or epoxy with jewelry, or painting and epoxy and jewelry together. I also love photography, drawing, dancing. I love games of all types. I love word games. I just recently started playing Dungeons and Dragons. And of course, I love health and nutrition as well. I also have a wellness coaching business on the side, helping others to become the very best version of themselves that they can imagine. And I'm currently working towards an ACC, which is Associate certified coach is the accreditation I'm going for through the International Coaching Federation. And now have just begun to teach classes for Brain Northwest. First subject we talked about was 4 classes in poetry. This is class number 2 in our nutrition series. Now let's get down to the meat of it all, if you will. To recap just briefly what we talked about last time, there are 6 things that are essential for us to intake to keep us alive. And those things are proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and of course, water. Briefly, carbohydrate is sort of like the sugar in the body. It's quick energy. It's once it gets digested, it's immediately available for use to keep you going. Proteins, this facilitates many of the chemical reactions in our body, also is what has created the structure, the actual framework of our body. So of course the cartilage and bones, our muscles, blood and skin. And they also help to build and repair living tissue. So that would be wound healing, and then also to help your blood clot. Fats are the source of stored energy within the body. As you may recall last time, if you attended, I talked about how we can, it's a virtually unlimited amount of energy storage that we can have just through storing fat or adipose tissue. There are 9 essential amino acids that you have to find from food, and then 12 essential amino acids that the body can make. But the 9 essential ones you'll have to eat with food. Briefly, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, these are the recommended amounts for adults. It's a little bit lower on young people and older folks. But this would be the height of the amount that you'd need for males and females. I won't read it all to you, but pretty similar. There's a couple changes from one to the other. I think proteins are a little bit different for males to females, what they recommend. There are no RDAs currently for any other types of fat other than the linoleic and the linolenic. That's why those are listed under fats. So they're not recommending that we have any butter or bacon grease in our diet, as I'm sure we're all shocked to find out. Picture of some of my favorite foods. These are some very, very healthy foods here. All kinds of beans and peppers and beans, Brussels sprouts, all kinds of good fats here. The avocado's got lots of great fats in there. Okay, so what to talk about first here is how food impacts our gut-brain health. As we talked about last class, our gut and our brain are very closely connected. They are referred to as the 2 brains sometimes. The vagus nerve is the gut's direct connection to the brain. It is literally a nerve that goes from your stomach into your brain. Controls messages to the gut as well as other parts of the body, heart, the lungs, and other vital organs. The gut also connects with the brain through chemicals like hormones and neurotransmitters. These are the messages that are passed back and forth between the gut and the brain and are affected positively and negatively by the bacteria, funguses, and viruses in our gut, or what they call the gut microbiome. They can be beneficial, harmful, or harmless. Many of them are beneficial, and there's billions and billions in our bodies. The microbiota in our gut does contribute directly to our brain function, as well as the composition and the function is greatly influenced by dietary factors. So what we eat contributes directly to our brain function. Here's another fun picture. I showed this one last time too, but this is the vagus nerve here going up and down in yellow from our stomachs to our brain. Lots is happening here, lots, other than just talking about the food, but our mood exists to some extent in our belly as well. Lots of, like I say, hormones and neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, is produced in the gut, which affects our mood, focus, and our sleep. So what do we want to eat for gut health? Probiotics, prebiotics, those are kind of like versions of the same thing. So probiotics does give you the good bacteria in your body. These are live active cultures. You see talk about it on the outside of yogurt containers. That is the live cultures that you want in your belly, you put into your mouth. There's lots of good ones. A lot of these are fermented items, sauerkraut, kombucha, kimchi. These are all fermented, and that fermentation process creates some really good little microbes for you, and they help with our digestion. The other way to go about getting probiotics into your body is to put foods into your body that creates the good bacteria rather than just putting the good bacteria in. This helps your body to create it. Lots of fresh fruits and vegetables in this list as well. Onions and garlic, apricots, asparagus. These are all good to create the bacteria. Also, eating a balanced diet is very good for gut health, lowering fats and sugars in your diet, and then also keeping to a balanced amount of carbohydrates and fats and proteins. Generally, the American diet does not get enough carbohydrates and gets too much of the fats and proteins. And then eating plenty of fiber is also very good for your gut health. You want to give it something to munch on. What happens with diverticulitis is the muscles in your colon get weak from not having enough to munch on, and can cause problems. So the way to get around any of that is by eating plenty of fiber. There is some bacteria creation that happens with eating fiber as well. There's actually a fermentation process that can occur in your body that you want to have occur, that creates the good microbes as well. Alrighty, this is another fun image here. This just talks about the gut-brain axis again and the influence it has on different parts of your body, neurotransmitters. Stress and anxiety can reside in this axis, as well as your mood and behavior. And then, of course, influences things like your weight, your bowel movements, the balance of microbes in your body, and then how the nutrients are delivered to you. So how do we support our brain health through diet? There's lots of information here on this page, and I looked up a lot of different resources, and these things are good for you in so many different ways, but specifically for your brain. And I also saw that things that are good for your brain are good for your heart. So any of these are also good for your heart. Berries, which can help memory decline, or rather can help delay memory decline in people, especially strawberries and blueberries. Coffee and tea. Actually, they found that people that drink more caffeine products do better on mental tests. So, and can help to solidify new memories, according to some research. Leafy green vegetables, that includes many of the leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach, collards, and broccoli, and those are high in vitamins and minerals like vitamin K, beta carotene, folate, and lutein. And then walnuts, which are just an absolute superfood. They're good for you on a number of different ways. Lowering blood pressure, it helps to give you cleaner arteries. Again, good for your heart and your brain. These are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which we'll talk about a couple different times today. Specifically, what it's high in is ALA, or alpha linolenic acid. So that's, like I say, good for the heart and the brain. Fatty fishes, which are hopefully ones that are low in mercury, because that can be a problem with eating a high fish diet. But you want salmon, cod. You could do canned tuna and pollock. Those are known to be lower in mercury. You can also find what they call terrestrial omega-3 sources, so not in fish, but of the ground. Flax seeds, avocados, and walnuts. Flaxseed oil is a great thing to have on hand. Lots of just loads and loads of nutrients for you in there, and pretty tasty. Good to make salad dressings out of. If you're looking for some good salad dressing ideas, sort of nutty in flavor, pleasant though. Next, we'll talk a little bit about gluten. Gluten is a protein. It is found in lots of wheat type products, barley and rye, as well as wheat. Lots of products that have gluten. People say, does it have gluten in it? When they say that, they mean wheat gluten. I mean, potato has gluten too, but they don't care about potato gluten. So when people are talking about being gluten-free, it's not all glutens, it's the wheat gluten that can give the biggest problem um, to your body. So why do people go gluten-free? So originally people were going gluten-free back when it kind of just started to come out. I think that was kind of when I was a kid. I knew someone that was gluten-free, but she was like I knew one kid. So that was 40 years ago, probably at this point. And it was very uncommon. But I knew a little girl, I think she had a gluten intolerance, and it's hard. It hurts to eat gluten. And people sometimes, especially if you were raised in a house where you're eating gluten all the time and you're just generally hurting and you don't really know why, you don't even realize what's hurting you until you remove it and then you feel better. And you go, oh gosh, that's what was hurting me all along. I think that happens more and more for people these days. And a lot of people are just recognizing it hurts their body a little bit, or they have a brain fog that happens when eating gluten. I knew a good friend of mine that said she would get brain fog every time she ate gluten. It just was tired, bloated, couldn't make her brain go. But there's gluten sensitivity, there's gluten intolerance, there's all levels of pain and inflammation related to gluten. People that are gluten-free, like I say, some of them have just pain in their belly or inflammation in their belly or all over their body. Brain fog, that is considered part of inflammation as well. And then physically, of course, people getting sick, right? Stomach cramps, gas, sour smelling stool, bloating, all kinds of fun stuff, anemia. So those are some of the reasons that people go gluten-free, is to avoid all of that. And next, we'll talk a little bit about dairy. So why do people go dairy-free? We know what dairy is, right? That's milk products. Dairy can be all the products from any of the animals that produce milk: sheep, goat, cow, and on and on. Some people have more trouble, many people have more trouble with cow's milk than they do other types of milk. I know plenty of people that are dairy free of cows, but can have a sheep and goat milk or cheese without any problems. So it can cause inflammation. If you're lactose intolerant, I am lactose intolerant, and it ain't good to have dairy for me. And in fact, it's gotten worse as I've gotten older, which is surprising. But you can, if you're lactose intolerant, that's inflammation. If you have irritable bowel disease, that is inflammation. And that does include Crohn's disease and UC, or ulcerative colitis. So celiac is the very, I'm sorry, this is improper. That belongs on the gluten one. I apologize. Let's talk about lactose. As you recall, is the sugar or the carbohydrate in milk, which is difficult to digest in some individuals, aka lactose intolerance. Food allergies, which are also pretty common, have There are 25 different molecules that one could be allergic to in milk. Casein, which is the soured curd of milk, and then the whey, which is the watery part separated out from the curd. Those are the two largest offenders or the molecules which commonly trigger allergic reactions with dairy. And of course, a food allergy, an allergy is an abnormal and heightened response of the immune system to certain components within a food, such as the proteins, or in this case, carbohydrate. Dairy-free diets are shown to clear acne-prone skin, can reduce bloating, and full fat dairy is also high in saturated fats and sugars. So even just lowering it to low or no fat is better for you if you're going to eat dairy. And now we'll talk a little bit about brain inflammation. These are just some quotes I found. This is from heart.org. This is the article that I was looking at. Lots of good information. They talked a lot about how the heart and the brain, what is good for one is good for the other. So research has shown that replacing simple carbohydrates like white breads and white rice or saturated fats with more complex carbohydrates and healthy fatty acids can improve short-term memory. Also, children that have eaten more higher fish, vegetables, and fruit amounts do better in school. They've also found a link between fatty foods and sweetened drinks, which in childhood with problems with executive function, which is another way of saying the skills that are needed for everyday tasks, such as making plans or solving problems, or adapting to new situations. And of course, so omega-3 is the big one that we talk about in a number of different ways, but with brain inflammation in particular. So if you have low amounts of omega-3s, that's a good thing. Omega-3s are good. They've been implicated in mood disorders and cognitive loss in adulthood, while higher consumption of these good fatty acids have been shown to increase learning, memory, cognitive well-being, and blood flow to the brain. So diet quality in your midlife has even been linked to the structure of your brain and the volume of your brain. Big stuff there, big stuff. While there are direct effects on the brain from what people eat, a poor diet also results in other problems that also can lead to bad brain health. Also, a poor diet can, of course, result in weight gain and fat gain, adiposity. That's fat gain over time. And that increases your risk for insulin resistance, which is the beginning of diabetes and heart disease as well. And good diet helps all of you. Maintains that a healthy heart can be good for the brain, of course. So this is from Dr. McPherson, who had written that last article. He also says, I wouldn't say there's a single superfood or a single bad food. It's the combination of everything. Having those healthier vegetables and fruits and lean meats and fish together will provide a good source of fats and proteins, while more processed foods, fast foods, sweets, and foods with more saturated fats will, of course, be detrimental. This is all stuff we've heard before. So these are foods that fight inflammation. If you're paying attention, you'll see these same foods come up everywhere in what's good for your body, what's good for your brain, what's good for your gut. Tomatoes, fruits, nuts, olive oil, we know about that one as well. Leafy greens, fatty fish. Those all help with depression, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. Arthritis, I mean, that's basically chronic inflammation, but that can be treated with a healthy diet. And then, of course, our inflammation foods, you'll see down here, that's French fries, soda, that looks like I'm pretty sure that's croissant there. That looks delicious. Some butter, and then processed meats. Those are all not good for inflammation. So how to combat brain inflammation through the diet. This is, a little bit more than just diet here. So you're going to maintain your healthy body weight. That is through diet, right? Energy intake versus energy output. That's diet and exercise. What you're eating and how much energy you're using. You want to keep it healthy and in balance. Eating a variety of fruits and vegetables. So eat the rainbow, as they say. Eat more plants than meat for protein. Lots of protein to be found. Soy, beans, legumes, all kinds of stuff have protein. If you are going to eat meat, fish and seafood choices are better. Pardon me. And as I mentioned, there are lots of veggies and legumes that have protein. You should choose liquid fats, such as olive oil, over solid fats, such as butter or bacon grease. Whole grains, of course, over refined or processed grains. We want to think about the difference between brown rice and white rice. And then to choose and prepare low and no salt foods, you'll want to check out the DASH diet. Also, there's a whole list of all the research I did in the very back of this, and there's information on the DASH diet if you'd like to go and look at any information on any of this stuff in more detail. This is the dietary approaches to stop hypertension, DASH. That's what that stands for. Hypertension is high blood pressure. So this is what they're recommending for your heart, which is also what they're recommending for your brain, which is also what we've also talked about in a number of different ways. So grains, you want them to be whole grains, fresh fruits and vegetables as much as you can get. If you're eating proteins, make them low fat proteins. That's what lean proteins mean. And from sources other than just beef and chicken. So lots of good proteins and things like beans and nuts. Limiting fats and sweets, we know about that one. And then, of course, having dairy, if you're having dairy, but make it low fat. That's much better for you, lower in saturated fats. And now to talk a little bit about how to combat brain inflammation through your diet. Limit alcohol intake. Eat unprocessed foods whenever possible. Also, you want to start checking your nutrition labels. If you want to know if something's going to be good for you or how processed it is, look for less than 6 ingredients. That's just kind of a benchmark to hold. If you're looking for nutrition labels, you'll find a lot of stuff has 13 and 20 ingredients. Those are not good for you. You want something that's just like 4 to 6 items, which of course, right? I mean, if you're having popcorn, for example, right? It should be popcorn, should be salt. There should be maybe one other thing for flavor, and that's it. You don't need all the other stuff. Also, a lot of the stuff that's in food is to keep it preserved. So if you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, you don't need the preservatives. Also, when you're looking at your nutrition labels, it is worth it to look at the serving size. Sometimes it's ridiculous what they consider to be a serving size, whether they're trying to say there's not very much fat or sugar in this, or to say there's tons of this vitamin in it, right? They're going to say, having 3 cups of rice is good, brown rice is good for you in this way, but who's really eating 3 cups of that? Also, who is splitting a Snickers candy bar in half? I don't think anybody. I'm pretty sure that that's one of the things that's listed is like candy bars, serving size 1/2 bar. Also, a new thing they've started putting on cans is no added sugars, which people automatically think means no sugar, which that's not true. It just means they didn't add any additional sugar other than what it naturally had in it. So don't be fooled. No added sugar. You want to check and see how much sugar is in there anyway. Also, these rules do apply when you eat out. It's hard to eat out when you're eating well. It's no shame to ask your server or your cashier some details. If you're going to a fast food restaurant, they are required to give you the information as to your nutrition information. What, how much carbohydrate, fat, saturated, and unsaturated fat, salt, fiber is in your food, even in a fast food restaurant. They have to give you that information. And also, all they can say is no, but it doesn't hurt to ask, if they can make your fries without salt. Or, can I just have oil and vinegar for my dressing rather than, this high salty ranch or whatever it is. So, and get to know your place, get to know your server. Sometimes they'll find out stuff for you and then you come to the table and they say, "Hey, I already know you like your food like this, and I know we can make it for you in this way or not like this." So this is a pretty big list of foods that fight inflammation here. I didn't want to read the whole list off. There's lots. There's more on the next page as well. But these are all foods that are anti-inflammatory, and inflammation happens in your brain. It happens all over your body as well. So these will fight all sources of inflammation within the body the same. As you're seeing, same stuff all over again. Blueberries, rice, fatty fish, dark leafy greens. We've seen that dark leafy greens are so good for you in so many ways today. So this is more of that same list. Again, lots of strawberries and, vegetables and fruit here. Yogurt, of course, is wonderful. And then these are some vitamins and minerals that are good for your heart and brain. I'll just give you some quick run this down quickly. Thiamine, which is B1, that's good for your brain and your nerves, helps them to communicate. Riboflavin or B2, which is good for preventing the buildup of plaque in the heart, easing headaches of some types, and then also energy increasing. Folic acid, also known as B9, fights heart disease. It boosts your mood and preserves brain health. So very good, brain health right here. Also B12, brain health, reduces the risk of heart disease and also a mood booster. Ascorbic acid, otherwise known as vitamin C, is very good for your blood pressure, very good for your immune system, definitely reduces inflammation. This is big if you're looking to reduce inflammation. Vitamin C, that's what a lot of those fruits and vegetables that we saw in the last couple slides, that's what makes them great, is their vitamin C content. And then, of course, helps the body with collagen production. So makes your skin look more youthful, supple. This was just a funny little image I found. The heart and the brain are together. Each other's missing puzzle pieces here. These are the rest of the vitamins and minerals. So CoQ10 you've heard of, coenzyme Q10, that treats heart failure or prevents heart failure rather. And then it also has brain protecting antioxidant properties. Vitamin D, which helps maintain healthy nerves and then regulates your blood pressure. Magnesium, so good for brain health overall, supports nervous system function, and then also helps your heart to beat regularly. Omega-3 fatty acids, our favorite. We've talked about this many times today. Promotes brain health, improves blood and cholesterol levels, and then also, as mentioned, fights inflammation. And then zinc, which has antioxidants that protect you against heart disease and then supports your immune system and also helps with eye health. So those are kind of a brief overview of some good things to look for heart and brain health. Alrighty, hopefully I didn't blow you out of water with all that information, but it's now time for questions. I think I see some people that might have some questions in the chat for us. Let's see. Oh no.